the Baragnano, you are expected to appear before Lord Nobunaga today.
Thank you, Sir Mitsuhide. We are ready.
Hello, everyone. We're Easy Allies. I am Daniel Bloodworth, joined by Michael Huber,
Yo!
who's played a couple hours.
Yeah, good chunk, like 3+ hours.
Nice. Of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Honestly, it's one that we've had to wait a while for. There's been like a few times where like events will come up and it's like, okay, Assassin's Creed Shadows, hands-off presentation, little theater rooms. Like, okay, okay, we didn't really see much, get much.
Yeah.
Now you've gotten a chance to actually play, although little slight caveat, it's the remote desktop setup, so sometimes your video gets all compressed and all that kind of thing.
Totally.
So not the best perfect impression, but...
Streaming the game from their server across the country. 1080p. So, yeah. That's a big caveat for sure.
But you did get to play as both characters and for a couple hours, so...
Yeah, I played both of the main characters' intros and then picked up more of like in an open, kind of a open-ended area later on to do like a big main mission. Kind of wander around and everything. The first couple missions were a little more linear and
Yeah, and I know for the footage, so like they gave us some stuff from the earlier bits, and then your footage is from that later part. Yeah, the stuff that you actually played.
Yeah. Where do we begin? It's complicated. I'm a little nervous about Assassin's Creed Shadows. It was a little inconsistent with what I really liked and what I didn't really like. But even before we begin, to me, Assassin's Creed is always more than the sum of its parts. Like I can look at so many individual things in each of these games in this huge franchise, and other than maybe like the ship combat in Black Flag, I'm never like, this is the best in class, this is the best combat in the industry, or this is the best stealth, but I think the way their games always come together with all of those parts is always so well done, and I have that hope with Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Nice.
Because just right off the bat, the story is high stakes. Like I'm fully invested, fully gripped. Yasuke comes over, and he is basically like in the envoy of like these Portuguese priests.
Okay.
And they go to Japan, and there's just all these like political dealings and moves, and they meet. That's where you meet Nobunaga, and then Nobunaga is like, "Yo, you're coming with me, Yasuke. Like I have use for you." And it's cool because there's like different languages, like they're speaking Portuguese, there's a little Japanese there. I just had it on like normal English by default, but like, when the Portuguese priests were talking, they were speaking in Portuguese. And I just always love the historical context of these games,
Yeah.
Definitely some Shogun vibes with like Portugal and, someone coming over to Japan. So if you're into Shogun, definitely. And then nowadays is like a little more personal, her like village gets attacked, so on and so forth.
It's a little more like Tsushima, maybe.
Yeah, and definitely more integrated into like the assassin of Assassin's Creed for sure. We've seen that, that she's the stealth character, he's the combat action character. But yeah, her storyline is definitely more tied to like the assassin lore.
Got it. Yeah, because I am curious still how some of those threads supposedly fit in. It's like I know it's like okay, it's not all Desmond's bloodline anymore, but it's still like it's weird because that used to be the setup. It's like we're just looking back through your family, and it's like now it's like I guess we're just whoever if they were somehow tangentially related to the assassins.
Yeah, I remember it was like Black Flag. I think they made it so you didn't even need the person's DNA anymore.
Yeah, that got all weird. Did you see anything like that? They usually keep that under wraps, but
I will say the animus is around.
Okay.
And some of you are rolling your eyes. I'm invested in that so much as someone who played from 1 onward, all these games. Like, I love that there is something to tie them all together. I think it's cool. I love like that sci-fi element, you know?
Yeah.
It's really cool to have these historical games, but then also have this kind of, you know, mysterious kind of evil manipulations going on in the back. Like it's really just a huge scope of it all. The scope of that story is so big. Of course, I've talked about it forever, but it needs a payoff, you know?
Right.
Like you could criticize the modern day stuff for sure, but I still think it's like 1 or 2 steps away from actually having a great culmination and making it all worth it. So that is in there. But yeah, some of the just my biggest complaint, Blood, we'll start there, I guess, is just the stealth, man.
Okay.
Like the last couple Assassin's Creed games, I'm always telling you, it's like it's so much more efficient to just run in and mash everyone out and leave. Like, why am I wasting my time sneaking around if I can just go in with Yasuke and take everyone out, no problem?
But I mean,
like Blood,
yeah.
stealth takes like, and of course, you know, there's a learning curve, of course, but like in general, stealth takes longer. Stealth takes 2 to 3 times longer. Like I'm sneaking around, you know, I get caught. Now I got to fight this person. I'm weaker because I'm like the ninja character. So now we're getting into fights. It's taking a while and then I was like, switch to him, bulldoze in, R1, R1, R1 dead, R1, R1, R1 dead, R1, R1 dead, done.
So do you think it has something to do with like that fact that like there is that choice? Because, you know, like I think in some ways like a lot of stealth games like Island, I were just talking about Indiana Jones, where it's like a lot of situations like you can, if you don't care about getting caught, you can just go and punch your way through a bunch of guys. But it's sort of like in some ways stealth is sort of like a self-imposed thing. It's like I want to be in the moment. I don't want to,
sure.
I want to stab a guy through a wall or whatever.
Totally love the RP, 100%. The RP, 10 out of 10. But when I think of like really rewarding stealth, you know, let me think of like survival horror, like Last of Us or Evil Within. It's like, well, my resources in those games are limited. So I want a stealth to save those resources. Or something like Metal Gear. If the alarm goes off, like there's 100 people, I'm freaking dead. Like, but in Assassin's Creed, you have unlimited resources, like unlimited. You're never gonna run out of tools or anything in that game. And then just like, you know, they have to run to the alarm. So as long as you just take out the one person, even if reinforcements come, you're just so strong as him. It felt like really just OP in a fun way, though. I mean, his combat is fun, but like I had the big hammer, I had the spear, I had the sword. He has, you know, the Spartan kick move, of course, is back,
great.
which is so fun. And then he has like this really cool like dash move, and those are just on cooldown, so you can like pop those pretty frequently. I think when you like attack people, you kind of gain your charges back. And then you have like healing items, so I was never in any real danger in open combat. But when I was her sneaking around, I did have to be more careful and, you know, slower paced. So yeah, that was kind of the big. It's like, oh, if you know, I just need a little more time to see how the stealth really plays out in comparison, because at this...
Do you think that, like, maybe, like how tanky does he feel? Like, how slow? Do you think that that's the thing that, like, maybe he should be slower so he can't just, like, take out a whole mob of guys?
He's pretty slow, but going into the game, Blood, I thought he couldn't, like, climb at all. I thought he couldn't even climb a rooftop, which I thought would have been a really nice trade-off.
Right.
But you can climb. Not as much as her, you know, she's got the grappling hook and stuff, and I don't think he can like climb really high up, but I was like climbing things and chilling out, like slamming through doors. So yeah. And his VO was amazing. Like I'm really invested in his character so far for sure. I think hers will be more of like slower burn down the line, like, you know, the whole Assassin's vibe.
It sounded like more recently like they I think probably for her specifically, that they had done some little tweaks and stuff to just the movement and the parkour. Did you notice anything like that?
Yes. Scaling down walls now is just so easy, so nice. Going into little openings, it was so fluid. I mean, this is a system that has now been refined for so many years.
19 years, something like that.
Yeah, so wild. But yeah, because like X's go up and then like holding circle or whatever is going down. So I remember in the old ones, it was like both. Button X was like both, like climb up or climb down. So now it's just way cleaner, way smooth. Like going down, I was like going down a building and then like there was an opening and then I just kind of like shimmied in all smooth. Like it was really smooth, really nice. The horse is there. But yeah, the open world, again, this was the hardest thing to judge too because of just the streaming
Right.
1080p, but I mean, it was gorgeous. It's not like the biggest step up from Valhalla yet for me in terms of the NPCs feeling alive and this place feeling lived in yet. You know, they're kind of just static NPCs, kind of just, stock animations, like someone's just like kind of sweeping over here. So if you really like stop and pay attention, you might notice that. But I think just with the nature and just how much is going on, like even for this time period, like I was walking through like a field and there were all these, people farming and little tea shops over here. So there's a lot going on, which I really liked for sure.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely don't stop and stare. And then I did a couple side activities. One of them was just like break into this guarded area to steal some stuff. That was cool.
But why are you stealing though? What are you stealing?
The context. It was like the guards had something for like the villagers needed something.
Okay, they like confiscated something, like corrupt government officials. Got it. Okay, yeah.
There was like a gambling den down there that I went into. There's also these side challenges that can give you ability points because each character has like the ability tree. But there was one where it was this archery competition. You're on a horse and you're going through and you got to like hit all the targets. And then if you do that, you get like an ability point. You can put that in. Then there was another one where it was just like kind of finding animals in the wild, and you go up and you sneak up on them.
Oh, okay. I think I saw a little bit of that in the B-roll. Yeah.
You're doing like little calligraphy and drawing them, and I guess you can take those back to your hideout, which I didn't get to see. That's one of the biggest things about this game is like.
Yeah. Do they have a shared hideout?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I'm curious, like their interactions and stuff, how that plays out too.
Totally. The hideout was on the map, but it was like fast travel blocked. I was like, no, let me go there. Map seemed pretty big. But another thing too with like the missions blood, it's really leaning into the the Odyssey, Valhalla explorer type mode where it'll just give you clues. Mm-hmm. And then you have to kind of figure out where to go. It's like, talk to this woman at the house. And it's like, okay, where's the house? And then it'll kind of give you clues as to where it is. But you can also send your scouts there on the map, which is really simple. It's just like push of a button, send a scout. And then it'll kind of ping the location and give you a general idea of where it is.
Okay.
Need to see more of that because you can call in like Brotherhood style assassins to like take people out.
Oh, okay.
So I need to,
Yeah. That's good.
I kind of just had those abilities. I need to see more of like how those assassin NPCs are integrated into your crew. I think maybe with the hideout, you'll get a better sense of that. You'll probably have like, people roaming around your hideout.
Does the day-night change real time? Is that like tied to? I mean, some of them might be tied to quests. Or
yeah, it seemed quest based.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was riding around, it didn't change at all.
Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, the combat was pretty good. The combat was good. It was impactful, but yeah, I'm just a little hesitant to be super hyped. I'm cautiously optimistic because again, I think one of the best parts for me about Assassin's Creed is just getting lost in it, just getting invested, building out your hideout, getting new gear, getting really invested in the story. Like I started saying, it's more than the sum of its parts. And I think Assassin's Creed really excels at that. By the time I'm always done with them, I'm like, overall, that whole package, was extremely fun. Like, I get so addicted to just clearing those maps. Like, Assassin's Creed maps are just some of my favorite maps to clear.
How did, weapon drops and loot and all of that kind of thing? Because I feel like, it's like some of the more recent ones have gotten a little overloaded on that business.
There's fewer categories now. It's like armor, weapon, might have been one other one, I think secondary weapon. So way less. They gave us like epic loot that we could just try. So I wasn't even like searching for some. I had a little bit of money and then I went to a shop just to see it and like bought a weapon. So you can buy weapons there. But overall, when I was like clearing little areas and exploring and opening chests, I wasn't getting a lot of gear. I was getting like money or
and you don't pick it up off of bodies or anything like that?
Not gear, I don't think. I'm not 100%, but I was picking up like arrows and, consumables from the bodies. But I don't remember any like
But like you wouldn't like grab somebody's hammer and then you'd like...
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Couple boss fights, but they were just... Why? That's another thing, Blood, is like you go into an area and it's hostile for like story reasons. You like walk in or whatever because you're like supposed to confront someone, and then because you confront them, then it's like, okay, time to fight. But if you're the ninja character,
why would you just walk in like
and you're
that?
just like open, like, all right, time to fight? Like, that's weird. I just always felt like I wanted to be him. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out over the course of this entire game for sure. Because of course, if you start learning and mastering the stealth, of course you're going to be able to like zip in, sneak in, boom, 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 get in there, steal that out before anybody notices, of course. But I think there's a wider range of like things to go wrong when you're her, and you just have to be a little more slow, a little more cautious. But yeah, I do want to see how that all plays out, Blood. I'm very intrigued. I'm very interested.
Okay.
Because right now I'm all about just running in, smashing down the door, and just R1. Yeah, there's parries and dodges as well. Like blue is parry. They'll attack you like 3 in a row sometimes. They'll be like blue, and you have to like parry. So you have to get multiple parries in a row. Okay. Which is good. And then there's unblockables as well. But if you perfect dodge, they'll be kind of stunned. Enemies have armor. You can take that out with like bigger weapons.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
So still a lot of questions, Blood.
Optimistic, but still guarded.
Cautiously optimistic. It feels again like a refinement more so than a reinvention, which I'm okay with, I guess. But I was hoping for more of a transformative Assassin's Creed where it's like, whoa, this feels way different. But it does feel a lot like Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. So it's definitely closer to those than a Mirage or the older ones.
Okay.
So fingers crossed. We will see.
And that's March now. They just moved the date. I don't remember the exact date. I want to say the 20th, but it's totally off my head. Could be completely wrong on that. But yeah, so keep an eye out. A couple of weeks. We'll see what the full thing, get some more time in there, really get comfortable. And thanks for watching this video. We're Easy Allies. We are funded by viewers just like you. So if you like this, check out more stuff on our YouTube channel. Check out our podcast where we're sharing impressions of games every week and talk about the news and stuff. And go to patreon.com/easyallies to support us and all the work that we do. For $5 a month, you can get all kinds of fun little rewards. And we will see you soon.